Welcome to NG Wheels. The world of dual sport motorcycles has always been defined by balance between power and control, between on-road comfort and off-road aggression, between adventure and everyday usability. In 2026, Honda pushes that balance to a new frontier with the CRF 750L, a machine engineered to become the bridge between the lightweight maneuverability of the CRF 300L and the long-distance authority of the Africa Twin. What follows is a deep dive into the story, soul, and sensation of this motorcycle, a narration that explores the bike from the first turn of the key to the last echo of its exhaust in the wilderness. The first thing a rider notices when approaching the 2026 CRF 750L is the stance. It has that unmistakable CRF family presence, lean, tall, ready, with lines that trace inspiration directly from Honda's Dakar program. Everything about the design speaks to purpose rather than vanity. The narrow waist, the sculpted tank, and the aggressive headlight assembly make it clear that this is a machine built to endure miles of dust, mud, and asphalt. Yet there's a refined edge here, a sense that Honda wasn't just trying to build a dirt bike with lights, they were crafting a true middleweight adventurer capable of doing everything well. The moment the rider swings a leg over, the ergonomics make their intentions known. The seat height is substantial, offering commanding visibility, but the narrow chassis helps even shorter riders find confidence. The handlebars are wide and positioned for natural control, whether sitting on sweeping highway stretches or standing on the pegs during rugged climbs. Honda's legendary attention to rider triangle positioning is fully apparent. The 750L feels like an extension of the rider, not a burden to be tamed. Then there's the heartbeat, the new 750cc parallel twin engine. Honda tuned this engine to deliver a perfect mix of torque and tractability. As the ignition fires, it settles into a smooth but purposeful pulse. There's no harsh vibration, no unnecessary noise, just the subtle reminder that this motorcycle is ready for whatever test awaits. Twist the throttle, and the engine responds instantly with a low-end grunt that makes technical trails feel effortless. Push deeper into the revs on pavement, and the motor shows its other personality, strong, smooth acceleration that never feels overwhelming or out of control. This is a bike meant to give riders confidence, not intimidation. As the journey continues, the suspension becomes the next character in the story. Long travel Showa components absorb ruts, rocks, roots, and imperfections without drama. The 750L floats when it needs to float and stays planted when precision matters. On the road, the suspension firms up just enough to offer stability at higher speeds, keeping the bike composed during cornering, braking, and quick maneuvers. This adaptability makes the 750L feel like multiple motorcycles in one, a dirt performer, a touring companion, and a city explorer all sharing the same DNA. The chassis design contributes heavily to this versatility. Honda engineered the frame to strike the perfect compromise between rigidity and flex, allowing the rider to maintain confidence in technical environments while still enjoying stability at highway speeds. Whether carving through mountain switchbacks or climbing steep, loose trails where traction becomes a negotiation, the 750L holds its composure. The balance is remarkable. The bike feels light whenever the rider needs it to feel light and planted whenever the terrain requires confidence. As daylight fades and the journey continues into the evening, the advanced LED lighting becomes a trusted ally. Honda equipped the CRF 750L with a headlight system that punches far beyond what most expect from a dual-sport machine. The beam is crisp, focused, and wide, perfect for navigating dark forest roads or long rural stretches where visibility isn't guaranteed. The TFT display glows with clarity, offering easy access to essential information without feeling cluttered or overwhelming. Riders who value simplicity over tech-heavy distraction will appreciate the balance Honda achieves here. The longer the ride goes, the clearer the bike's long-distance credentials become. The seat, firm yet supportive, encourages hours of travel without fatigue. The fuel efficiency, surprisingly strong for a mid-sized twin, allows riders to push farther between refuels. Wind management from the factory fairing provides enough protection for touring while still preserving airflow for off-road cooling. The 2026 CRF 750L understands that adventure is rarely a short affair. It's built for riders who dream in horizons, not checkpoints. But even the most refined machine must eventually face the raw truth of the wilderness. When the pavement ends, the CRF 750L sheds its road-going skin and reveals the heart of a true off-road contender. Standing on the pegs feels natural, the bike responding to every input with the instinctive agility of a much smaller machine. The weight disappears, leaving behind the impression of a motorcycle that anticipates challenges before they arrive. Whether navigating tight tree-lined trails, loose gravel climbs, river crossings, or technical rocky descents, the CRF 750L behaves like a machine that respects the rider's skill while enhancing it. The electronic suite supports this dual personality. Selectable riding modes allow the rider to tailor power delivery and traction control to the surface beneath the tires. A dedicated off-road mode relaxes intervention, enabling controlled wheel spin and more direct engine response. Meanwhile, ABS can be switched off at the rear, giving the rider full authority when descending steep and unpredictable terrain. None of it feels intrusive, the technology complements the experience rather than overshadowing it. As the sun rises the next morning and the journey continues across open stretches of desert, forest, or mountain crossover, the true identity of the 2026 Honda CRF 750L becomes clearer. This is not a motorcycle built merely to fill a gap in Honda's lineup. It is a machine created for riders who believe adventure is not a destination but a rhythm, a constant interplay between the known and the unknown, the predictable and the wild. Every twist of the throttle becomes a reminder of the bike's dual nature. It is comfortable but rugged, powerful but approachable, refined yet raw where it needs to be. Honda managed to build a motorcycle that appeals to seasoned explorers and ambitious beginners alike. It is a gateway bike for some, a long-term companion for others, and a source of joy for anyone who values versatility above specialization. The narration ends with the motorcycle parked beside a campfire, the night sky stretching endlessly overhead. The engine clicks softly as it cools, the scent of heated metal mixing with dust and pine. The CRF 750L doesn't need to roar to declare its presence. It speaks through experience, through dependability, through the promise that tomorrow's road, whatever it looks like, is always worth chasing. In 2026, Honda didn't just release a new motorcycle. They released a new chapter in the story of adventure riding, and for those willing to embrace that story, the CRF 750L becomes more than a machine. It becomes a partner in discovery, a symbol of freedom, and a reminder that the world is full of paths waiting to be explored.